Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Now, today, it's definitely a Wednesday video, but it's a Wednesday video with a little bit of something new. So yes, we have a kind of a new option. But today, we're on a kind of a festival kind of beer. So we're doing a rzenfest beer from the lovely brewery. Yes, I've been at Home Bargains again. Yeah, that's okay. I went in there to get a stout and I seen there was a lot of other stuff in cans, so I thought, I'll give it a go. Can't be any worse. Although, the last beer I've had from here was the 5 litre keg, the bitter. And the 5 litre keg that was basically undrinkable, I'll be totally honest. It was undrinkable. But I thought, no, I'm not going to throw it out because it just annoys me throwing beer out. So it does. You know what I mean? It's a big difference throwing out a 5 litre fucking keg after you've had one glass out of it. So I thought, let's see what can I do with it. And what I did with that to try and make it more drinkable, I've introduced into Wednesday videos as well, as a way of kind of insulting breweries. Look at it from that way, that I'm doing this to kind of highlight that how bad their beers are, that this is all it's kind of good for, you know. And yeah, I suppose it is a way of being kind of insulting towards the breweries, to kind of say, well, what the fuck are you playing at, seriously? As a customer, do you think basically producing and selling a beer that's basically undrinkable is a fucking joke? You're all having a good laugh, or you're getting off on it or something like that. So it's a way of kind of getting back, being a bit spiteful and revengeful, and fuckies, because you deserve that. Because like I've said in previous videos, I'm getting fucking sick of drinking shit beer, and some of the beer is absolutely fucking dreadful. I really will, I'll be totally honest. So there's a wee bit of spill in the back of this. So this is a 5.6% by volume. It's the lovely brewery, which obviously it's owned by the kind of management group that owns Home Bargains, hence why the beers are in Home Bargains. And also because they took over the Love Lane brewery, they also managed to resurrect oh god, what's the name of the bloody Higson's brand as well, which was previously owned by the Love Lane brewery. So I think they took over that. So this is a special release. It's an amber lager, and it's called rzenfest. And it's a Marzen amber lager, and there's a bit of spill in the back saying Marzen and anyway, try again. Marzen, an amber coloured beer known for its malty flavour and crisp finish. It was the original beer served at the Munich October Beer Festival, strong with toasty, bready malt flavours and subtle bitterness to balance. A special release from the Love Lane micro brewery in the UK, and it says malts are lager, light Munich and Cara Munich. Hops is Magnum and Hallertau. Nose is, so the smell is toasted bread. The palate is caramel, biscuit, malt flavours. Finish is crisp, and IBU is 20. There you go. And yeah, so this is what we've got. So although I was saying that the last Marzen, no, it wasn't a Marzen type. Did I do a Marzen type beer? I'm trying to remember now. I did a Marzen type beer not long ago. I think it was that great actually. So it wasn't. So hopefully this will be kind of better. And then I did a Pilsner not long ago, and that was absolutely bloody awful. I got 0. So let's crack this open and see what we get. Well, it's definitely amber colour anyway. I'm kind of slightly worried about this because, one, the beer's kind of over-carbonated. Jesus, look at the state of this. And usually quite hoppy, to the point is it's just, well, what do you call it, the bitter was bloody dreadful. There's a 440ml can. What does it smell of? Maybe slightly kind of bready, maybe slightly kind of Bit of brown bread, maybe. What they say, nose wise. Toasted bread, kind of roasted grains, kind of, yeah. Toasted grains. Yeah, maybe slightly hint of fucking dry dog food about it. Yeah, we wouldn't put that on the fucking side of it, yes. Aroma. Toasted bread and dried wine a lot. Supplement. Dog supplement, you know. But it has got a little bit of that too. It has got a bit of slight bony kind of edge to it. Marvellous, eh? Fucking hell. Don't be hopped off its tits for fuck's sake, don't. Right, let's see what it tastes like. Right. Oh, right. Well, it has got a slight kind of Marzen bent to it. It's quite overcarbonated. It's nowhere near been a lager for as long. It's not been conditioned anywhere near as long. It's quite light on conditioning, I would say. Yeah. It's okay. The hops are quite light at the back end, so you're not really getting that slightly kind of tomato salsa back end that sometimes you get with the Marzen. You're not really getting that, so it's not too bad. You get a little feeling or sensation of it, but you're not actually getting that kind of proper kind of flavour. Yeah, not really much sweetness there, and overall the malt isn't as rich as you would expect. The colour, going by the colour, you expect the malt to be that kind of certain way, and you're not getting that. The malt is like as if it's a kind of a lighter beer. It makes you wonder, are they adding colouring to it? Because I'm not getting the malt or the kind of body that you'd expect from this colour. And also the alcohol content 5.6, I'm not really getting that either. You know what I mean? It's just, and yeah, for that kind of colour of Marzen, I would be looking to get a bit more. I'd be getting at least 6%, maybe slightly over. But yeah, 5.6, it just feels like it's kind of slightly concocted. It feels like it's slightly panto. Bit of a pantomime going on here, a bit of theatre, because the looks of it doesn't kind of match up with the kind of flavour profile. So I'm not really getting the malts that I would expect from it. I'm not really getting the kind of flavour. It's quite bland, especially in the mid-tongue. It's completely lacking. There's nothing there. And you expect the kind of slightly breadiness and toastiness to kind of slightly ramp up with a kind of a slightly bit more sweetness in the mid-tongue, and just getting none of that. It's just, it doesn't even start off particularly well. It starts off okay, and you expect it to kind of maybe grow a bit in the mid-tongue, and it doesn't. It kind of goes the other way. It kind of loses a bit. Yeah, it's better than previous ones I've had. I think we had a golden ale. We did a golden ale. We did a bitter. I'm trying to remember. Did we do anything else? I can't remember what we did with the Higson Brewery, but I think we did 3. And yeah, they weren't particularly that great, and they were over hopped at the back end, and it did have a real sharpness to the hops. It really did feel as if it was kind of extract rather than even pellets. It was just, oh fuck, you know. This is okay. It's nothing great. Price wise, I can't even quite remember. I'll put the details down below. I can't quite remember, but yeah, nothing kind of groundbreaking that's kind of standing out with it. But yeah, I'd say it's a bit, excuse me, overcarbonated and kind of underflavoured is the kind of best way to describe this. But at least it's drinkable, because trust me, that 5 litre keg certainly fucking wasn't, and I had to basically do some things to kind of resolve it, which I will show you later on in this video. But we'll break down these flavours just now. It starts off, so it does. Usually not too bad, nothing groundbreaking. It's not overly rich. I'd expect it to be a little bit richer, but it's okay. It's okay. There's more malt there than the standard lager, but you'd expect that for this type of beer. But I would expect it just to, with the colour of it and everything else, I expect it to have a little bit more malt, just a little bit more, and obviously the alcohol content to be a little bit more, and just in general be a bit richer, a little bit more kind of slightly syrupy, you know what I mean? The malts that are there, they are a bit kind of on the lighter end anyway. I'm not really getting any kind of strong caramel or that type of stuff. Maybe getting ever so slightly light caramel, but most of the time it's just a kind of a slightly kind of syrupy kind of malt kind of bed to it, with a bit of sweetness and a bit of kind of slightly kind of toasted bread, slightly kind of toasted green kind of feel to it. With a bit of a little hint of vanilla. Moves into the mid-tongue, and this is where it kind of slightly drops. It kind of loses a little bit of the malt. Sweetness is kind of round about the same, but again it loses a little bit of the kind of the toasted grains as well. And I expect that to kind of slightly ramp up a little bit, and you're not really getting that at all in the mid-tongue. It just feels that it slightly kind of lessens off in the mid-tongue. And yeah, and then when it gets to the kind of the back of the mouth, I mean, nothing really happens in the mid-tongue at all. Moves on to the kind of back of the mouth. You're getting a little hint of hops. No bitterness, let's be totally honest. They're claiming bitterness and everything else. I mean, palate, they're saying caramel, biscuit, malt flavours. Well, I'm not really getting caramel. I think that's bullshit. I mean, maybe colour-wise, but I'm not getting it flavour-wise. Biscuit, yeah, okay, a little bit of kind of toasted grain, but especially in the mid-tongue, it's kind of a lot less than front of the mouth. And at the back end, well, they call it crisp, I would call it clean, because there isn't really much there at the back end. It just, everything just kind of dissipates quite quickly. And yeah, it's from the start of the mid-tongue onwards, it just kind of loses a bit. And it does, it feels a bit lighter. It's not too bad though, it's not the worst. For a British attempt, I suppose it's not too bad. I'm not saying it's groundbreaking or wonderful, but if you compare this to a lot of other lagers, just in general, there is more flavour and more to this than your kind of standard kind of mainstream lagers and all this kind of stuff. So on that basis, if you just look at it from a lager point of view, there's more to this. There is obviously hints towards a Marzen type kind of beer, but I would say it's more of a kind of a lighter one. And flavour wise, it's more of a kind of like a lighter fest beer, but it's got a look of a more kind of more of a richer amber Marzen type, you know what I mean, that you would get that's been conditioned for a lot longer. It's got a bit more of a stronger malt base, with more kind of caramel flavours, more richer body, and a higher alcohol content to kind of back that up. Whereas no, it just feels it's like kind of slightly kind of a lighter festival, a lighter fest beer. But it's kind of looks like it's been coloured to try and make it look kind of a bit more richer than what it really is. It just doesn't really have the body. But if you look at it, comparing it towards general lagers on sale, like going to the supermarket, you've got Carling's, Foster's, all these other bloody ones, you know. It's nicer than them, quite easily. And yeah, there's more to it than that. And for the price of it, which is under £2 for a 440ml can, I think it's roughly about 170, 180, but I'll confirm that. And let's be totally honest, that's actually not bad for a beer like this. It's actually, from a lager point of view, if you just take it, like I say, from a general lager point of view, it's actually not bad. From a German Marzen, it's at the kind of lighter end. But yeah, there's still kind of Marzen hints to it, so not such a big problem. So what I was actually going to be doing if this turned out to be crap, instead of jumping on the whiskey, because one of the major problems is with the whiskey, some of the beers are so bloody bad, it's actually affecting me when I'm drinking a nice whiskey, and you know what I mean? And it's like, while I'm taking the whiskey to kind of maybe try and kind of improve the palate towards the beer, I feel that some of the beers is actually affecting the palate towards the whiskey, to be totally honest. And then it's a case of, I'm maybe wasting a good whiskey because I'm not enjoying it because I've got this horrible bloody beer. So what I'm going to be introducing as well, sometimes there will be whiskies and that type of stuff for Wednesday videos, but I'm also going to be bringing on a new feature called, well, it's Shandy. So what it basically means is, if the beer is so bad, then what I'll do is I'll drink it kind of halfway down the glass, give it a good chance to try and acclimatise to it, and if it's still bloody awful or undrinkable, then I'll give it a score as the beer. I'll break down the flavours and I'll give you the score as the beer as is. And then what I will do is I'll take a nice bar lemonade and I'll try and shandy it. And I'll be totally honest, it was brought about with that 5 litre keg, that 5 litre Higson's bitter, and it was so bad I started off doing 50-50, and even then the hops were just so fucking annoying that it was still coming through quite strong, to the point that it was really fucking annoying me, and still even as a shandy was kind of affecting it, to the point as I kind of upped it to a kind of like almost kind of a ratio of 2/3 to a third, you know, kind of bent, so like kind of almost 2/3 lemonade to a third beer, to kind of tone it down. And I also changed the temperature of the beer actually in the beer machine, so I took it down to 3. I think it was kicking around about kind of 7 or 8 previously, and I took it all the way down to 3 just to kind of try and chill it and calm it down a bit, and only then did I manage to make it kind of drinkable. But this beer, luckily enough, is actually not too bad, so we don't have to do, well, it's shandy, and we don't need a whiskey, because for a lager this isn't actually bad, and for this kind of brewery and everything else, yeah, it's actually kind of drinkable. So we don't have to do, well, it's shandy this week, which is good, because I don't want to, but if it's that bad enough, I will, and I'll just basically embarrass the beer, saying that, well, your beer's so fucking bad that it gets a shit score as a beer, and let's see if we can improve it by adding lemonade to it, which is, to me, I think that's the ultimate insult to any brewery, that your beer's so fucking bad, it's only good for fucking shandy, you know. I'll teach them. So anyway, you might call me spiteful, feel free, I don't give a shit. So, what would I give this out of 10? Good question, Graham. Yeah, it's getting not too bad now. I'd say it's kind of improving as I'm getting more acclimatised to it. Or maybe I'm getting a little bit more body in the mid-tongue now. Not a huge amount, but maybe a little bit. And I would say it's maybe getting slightly more closer to a Marzen style. And yeah, it's a heck of a lot better than your mainstream piss waters and everything else. And price-wise and everything else, I think it's not too. Unfortunately, this is a limited release, which is a bit of a shame, because if it's actually not a bad beer, then my view is, well, maybe you should release it as a regular beer and get rid of your fucking bitter. Get rid of the Hexen's bitter and the Golden Ale, because both of them are a bit shit, to be totally honest. Yeah, really quite manky. Oh, the Brown Ale. The Brown Ale was probably the best out of the three that we did. We did a Brown Ale as well. It was kind of okay. It had a little bit kind of hazelnut back end to it, which is I've had in some other breweries as well, some of their beers, and it's made me wonder what kind of hops they're using, or maybe, you know, it's either dodgy pellets or they're using a little bit of kind of hop oil as well, you know, a bit of extract oil, because they have a similar kind of back end flavour of this kind of slightly kind of hazelnut bent to the kind of back of the mouth and aftertaste from the hops. So yeah, but anyway, this one doesn't have it. And if I was comparing it from kind of normal lagers you can go in and buy from the supermarket, or some of the lagers you can go in and buy from like Aldi and Lidl, then I would say this is a kind of step up from that. And normally I would probably range them between 2 and maybe around about kind of 4 or 5 out of 10. And this one, from a lager point of view, is actually not too bad. It's more drinkable than any of them, in my view. So I'm actually going to give this a 6. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. And if you are into lagers and you like lagers, you know, you might also be an ale drinker and everything else, but if you like lagers and you want something with a little bit more to it, that's actually in towards kind of more affordable kind of bent, then I would say go to Home Bargains and get a couple of them to try, because I'll be totally honest, they're actually not bad. I'll be totally honest, not brilliant or wonderful, but actually not bad. And if you look at it from a lager point of view, they're actually quite drinkable and has a little bit more to it. So there you go. It's a bit of a surprise, and I didn't even get a chance to do well at Shandy. So it's a 440ml can. It's 5.6%. It's from the Love Lane Brewery, exclusive to Home Bargains. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye for now.